everybody. Hey, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I hope you had a great holiday. We took a break last Tuesday and I got in the kitchen, started doing some cooking, and started getting myself ready for my fabulous holiday with my favorite humans in the entire world, my sons, my grandson, my granddaughter, my daughter-in-law, my daughter-in-law. And so I hope you guys had a great holiday and you had some downtime. You gave yourself some love and you spent some time with your loved ones, your friends, your family. And now you are ready to kick the last month of 2022 out the door. We're going to go out with a bang and we are going to really, really finish strong, right? Well, I'm glad that you are. I'm ready to finish strong. I'm really looking forward to the holidays coming up. But we're going to have some fun this month. I'm going to bring a singing group on. I'm going to do a Christmas show. So it's going to be fun. So I just want to say welcome to Speak Out Loud, the story behind the brand. I'm so excited to be with you again another day. Anytime, my mama used to say, girl, anytime you are on this side of the ground, it's a good day. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is a good day because I am talking to you. And I'm just really super passionate about our subject matter that we're going to talk about tonight. And that's peace. Peace. Let me tell you something. It's priceless. It is really, really priceless. And we're going to talk about peace. I have the honor of having my partners. And I hope tonight I don't cry because I love, love, love these folks. And these are my partners. I like to call them my partners in crime because today I'm wearing my camouflage outfit because we are going to eradicate. I'm fighting every day to eradicate stigma of mental health. And I will be giving you guys some information. I was on a podcast the other day as a guest, believe it or not, talking about mental health. And so it's Unlearn the Lies About Mental Health, which was really awesome with Abraham Scully. I'll let you guys know when that's coming on. But I'm just so excited that I get to partner with this company, Telehelp 24/7. And today we get to speak to two of my favorite people. The second person is going to pop on later, but two of my favorite people. And the first one is the CEO of Telehelp 24/7. And so we get to talk to him today and get to learn a little bit more about the story behind the brand. We had him on at the top of the year, around in February of this year. And it's so awesome. It's no mistake that we are having him on as we're closing out the year. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get ready to speak out loud.
You're watching Speak Out Loud, the story behind the brand.
About that. See how modest she is, y'all? But let's go. So roasted crickets, I'm like, not eating that.
Yeah.
Consistency.
Every day showing up, even when you don't feel like it.
And now your host, Lynette Jackson.
That's right. I am your host. And for those that know me, what's up? How you doing? How was your holiday? And for those that don't, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name's Lynette Jackson. I'm the owner of Roar Media Group. Roar is a digital marketing company that helps its clients speak out loud in the marketplace with graphics, videos, voiceovers, websites, strategic plans. I started this company because there was a need to provide quality graphics at affordable prices. And I do it. Who do I do it for? I do it for the small business guy. I do it for churches, ministries. I do it for nonprofits. And I would love to do it for you. So if you would like to schedule a free consultation with me, just log on to our website, roarmediagroup.com, so that we can help you speak out loud. All right, so before we get started and bring on my guests, you guys know that every week I've been showing this video about the Community Assistance Program with Telehelp because they are my partners. So let's watch it.
The holidays can be a difficult time for many people. especially those who are struggling with mental health issues. Telehelp 24/7 provides quality mental health care for anyone who needs it. That's why this year we're offering our Community Assistance Program. You will receive 3 individual 50-minute virtual counseling sessions for the low price of $120. If you or someone you know is feeling overwhelmed this holiday season, log on to our website, telehelp247.org, and schedule your sessions today because you don't have to feel alone during the holidays.
That's right. You don't have to feel alone during the holidays. And my guest is going to help us understand why we don't have to feel alone. So without further ado, it is my honor to present to some and to introduce to other my friend, my business partner, Mr. Robert Adams. What's up, Rob?
Hey, Lynette, how are you? How is
good.
everyone?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Again, thanks for having me on your show.
Yes.
And thank you for partnering with us, Telehelp 24/7. We are always fighting mental health, one client at a time, right?
That's right. That's right. That's right. So you can tell that Robert Adams is a very important person because you can look at all the plaques on his wall behind him. But I just want to kind of share a little bit with my audience for those who have, just started. They may not have seen you when you were on at the top of the year, but just to share a little bit, have you to share a little bit about who you are. So tell us who you are, what you do, why do you do it, and who do you have a great pleasure of doing it for?
Okay. Well, again, thank you for having us, Lynette. So, like you, I saw a need. Many of us in our communities of color continue to struggle with the disparities in healthcare, period. But when it comes to mental health, we know that there's always been a denial, number one.
Yeah.
And then number two, there's always been a deficit of people who look like us when it comes to us needing and desiring help. And so that's always been a challenge in our community, particularly when it comes to mental health.
Yes.
Being able to witness this firsthand with my background in the pharmaceutical industry for over 30 years,
Okay.
I was able to really have a tremendous understanding and a tremendous education around the stigma regarding mental health. And again, seeing the need is where we come in. With Telehelp 24/7. The real linchpin, as you well know, was understanding that many of our children are suffering from so many mental health disorders, and they become so debilitating that it impedes their ability to learn, it impedes their ability to communicate, and unfortunately, it increases their ability to want to commit suicide and suicidal ideation. And so in my own experience with my daughter, who was diagnosed with bipolar depression, I had a concern as a parent that even though she was getting the help that she needed when she was diagnosed at 14, I knew she wanted to go away to college. And in going away to college, what options would I have if she suffered a relapse?
Yes.
Many people suffer relapses for so many different reasons. I know that the possibility exists for those students who are going to college to suffer a relapse because oftentimes it's their first time away from home. They've never had a roommate.
Yeah.
It's very challenging when it comes to conflict and resolution in many situations. Trying to balance their academic life as well as their social life can be challenging for them as well. And I wanted to know what resources would be available. So oftentimes, as I began to do research, again, just like in regular society, in our schools, many of the resources are challenged.
Yeah.
And so here's a way to be able to reach students, to reach parents, to reach their faculty and staff, and anybody where they are, by using virtual mental health care tactics.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was the catalyst to Telehelp 24/7,
Mm-hmm.
a virtual mental health care company
Mm-hmm.
designed for communities of color. And so that's how we got started. And we actually started Telehelp 24/7 in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And we are now in our fourth year, going into our fifth year of service. And we are happy to really be able to make a difference in so many lives.
That is so awesome. I heard a few things rolling through there. It's out of a passion that you had for your daughter.
Hmm.
Um, you started a company.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's the epitome of unconditional love. It's
absolutely.
like if we would have that sort of mindset a little bit more often, how do we not just say somebody needs to fix something, but I'm going to put my hands to the plow and I'm going to work towards not just for my daughter, because I know that if my daughter is experiencing this and there was no place for her to go, how many other students are experiencing
Other
this?
students. Absolutely.
And so a lot
Absolutely.
of
Absolutely.
times we have students in college. Just I remember when my son, my son Arcade, I
Hmm.
remember when he was going to Clark, and there was so much pressure on him
Absolutely.
to get the grades, because he's always been a stellar student. And it's like
Hmm.
sometimes our parents, we put that pressure on our children to you have to perform. And of course we want to motivate them to do what's right and to have good grades, but sometimes it's a little bit too much. And
Right. Right.
so it's like I can't fail because I'm going to feel like I'm letting my family down, or the peer pressure in school. And so I think that there is just this was just such a great thing that you did to start a company. And I
Hmm.
met Addison, your daughter Addison. She is just so yummy cute. But I remember like asking her, so what is it like to have a whole company, your dad to start a whole company around you? And she's just grateful that you not only were thinking about her, but thinking about countless other students. And so as a result of starting student telehealth, because that's when we started this,
Hmm.
it
Right.
actually has now springboarded into something huge. So tell us a little bit about the other services that telehealth provides.
Well, Lynette, as I was doing my investigation, particularly around what resources were available at colleges and universities, so many people would ask me, from faculty and staff, the administration would say, "Can you do this for our administration?" They're
Mm-hmm.
all so stressed out. They're also dealing with challenges. People are people first, regardless of what their occupation and their career path is.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody has to, at some point, be faced with some of life's challenges.
Yes.
So whether it's grief, whether it's disappointment, whether it's loss of a job, whether it's a situation in relationships,
Mm-hmm.
everybody has to go through something. And
Right.
it's not necessarily what you go through, but how you handle it. And
Oh,
can
that's
we
good.
give people the resources
Yeah.
necessary to navigate through some of those challenges? And so, as we continue to move forward, we started talking with churches. And so we
Mm.
saw that the pastors were struggling with the amount of issues and challenges that their memberships were faced with. Then we started talking with the first
Yes.
responders. And obviously, as many people are running away from so many issues, first responders are the ones that run towards the issues.
Yes. Oh
And
my
so, but
goodness.
again, they're people too, and they're dealing with home challenges, and we want them, our first responders, to always be in tip-top shape and at the
Yes.
best mental capacity as possible, because they are the ones that have to make split-second decisions,
Absolutely.
and we need them to be in the right
And who
frame
do
of.
they turn to?
Exactly,
Right.
exactly. And then there's also, when we talk about employees, a lot of the stresses and job stress and
Yes.
managing your job, your career,
Yes.
as well as your
Yes.
family, and some of the challenges that they may face as well. And so we mentioned students. Now,
Uh-oh.
so many of
Okay.
our students are
Okay.
experiencing the trauma when it comes to a lot of the campus violence, a lot
Mhm.
of the community violence, the gunshot
Yes.
shooting, and a lot of the racial unrest that we experienced during the pandemic. So many challenges there. And so those are the areas in which we are operating.
Yeah.
And anyone can come to our platform as an individual to
Mhm.
get the help that they need.
Yeah, yeah. So before we get in, because something is just really brewing in my head right now about fatigue. And but before we even start with that, um, my girl just popped in, and I just need to listen, let me tell you something. She is one of the smartest women that I know.
Hmm.
She really is.
She really
And
is
she's good at what she does.
very good.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just not even gonna just try to, I'm just gonna bring her on in because she set me on fire the other night when we were talking. She almost made me go in my northern voice, and talk like no northerner, like I am. But she gets me fired up. She is good at what she does. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I want to introduce to some and present to others Dr. Candace Norris Brown. Dr. Brown.
So let me get the check ready. You said that. You said
Yes.
that.
Did I do that?
You did that.
What? First of all, I'm super excited to have both of you together. And so before we get started, Dr. Brown, I want you to tell the audience who you are, what you do, why you do it, and who do you do it for?
Wow. What I do for everyone. So that I don't discriminate. I do for everyone because my goal is to help anyone who crossed my path to feel empowered and valued. So I will start off backwards and say that's what I do. I am a therapist. I have my own practice here in Atlanta, but I also provide support and I work for Mr. Adams at Telehealth 24/7 as his chief operations officer there, where I preside over all of the clinical team. I am passionate about just people, my people in particular, helping them overcome their challenges and their barriers and giving them the tools they need to be successful as they navigate this journey that we call life.
Yes, 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 yes. And I have had the opportunity to meet you when I came on to start working with telehealth. I started working with Rob in 2019, and then I think in 2020 I met you. And it's just been a love fest ever since. Today I wore my camouflage, okay, because I figured my girl would get it. She would get it. Today I'm fighting. Today, you know how I like about my military stuff, right? You know how I am about the military.
I do.
You know. It's a little private joke between Dr. Brown and I. But anyway, it's like I'm eradicating the stigma of mental health. And this is what we're fighting. We literally are fighting daily to help people get the help that they need. And I said to Rob, I hope I don't cry today because I'm super, super passionate. And I said to him, I sent a text to you the other day and said, I just love what we do. I just love the fact that we are partnering together as a team to help people get the help they need. And so just to even go back to the fact that I was just about to talk about fatigue. And not battle fatigues, but just fatigue, freaking tired. I'm tired, like we're tired. The pandemic hit us. I mean, it just took us out and it's still happening. People are still suffering from COVID. People are still dying from COVID. The different variations of COVID. Now we've got a new respiratory situation. Now we're on top of flu season. And so it's interesting. It's like you get a little tickle. I think I ate about 15 lozenges the other day because I was feeling a little bit like, what's this? And then I stuck the things up my nose to see, like, am I coming down with COVID? It's stress. And so help us understand how we can get through. I'm tired of the whole COVID thing. And so many other people, Dr. Brown, are fatigued. They have pandemic fatigue. Help us understand how we can deal with that a little bit.
So really, you have to take it day by day. I think a lot of times, sometimes it's just minute by minute, moment by moment. A lot of times we try to look ahead to wonder what's it going to be like tomorrow? Is it going to be still here next year? Is it going to still be here tomorrow? Take it for that moment. When you wake up for that day, focus on what you can control for that day.
That's good.
We spend so much time focusing on those things that are out of our control.
Mm-hmm.
Then we feed our mind by looking at television and listening to things that we can't control.
Mm-hmm.
And then it creates these reels in our mind that plays over and over again.
Oh, I'm taking notes. Hey, I got the pen. So, she just said I got to get a pen because you just spoke a whole volume of stuff about the reels that we play over and over in our minds. Go.
Mm-hmm. So it's just important that for that day, we focus on what it is that we control for that day. And I don't know where I was. I think Mr. Adams and I, we were someplace, we were presenting, and it's as simple as I have people do an activity where you draw two circles. On the mm-hmm. inside, it represents you. And those are the things that you can control, and you write those things down. And on the outer of the circle, those are those external things, the things you can't control. But notice I said the inside is you. That's your bullseye. That's what you focus on, is what's in that middle circle, because those are the things that you can control. And that's what you focus on. You don't focus on those outer things.
So give us some examples of things that people focus. I mean, I know you talk to people, but what do we focus on that are out of our control? Because I think if we can know that and kind of hear it, it may help us to even to cope with it a little bit.
You can't. So we focus on changing other people.
Okay. So we write that down. Write that down.
A lot of time focusing on what other people aren't doing or what they are doing instead of focusing on ourselves. We'll stress ourselves thinking like you did, taking 15 lozenges, thinking that every time we cough that we're going to have COVID.
Exactly.
So we were coughing long before COVID, right? We were sneezing long before COVID, and we didn't have COVID. So every cough, every sneeze doesn't represent COVID.
Oh, it doesn't.
It really doesn't. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to get it. But I also, work in a building with children. Mm-hmm. I cannot live my daily life stressed out, believing that I'm going to enter into the building healthy and I'm going to leave unhealthy. I can't live my life like that.
That's good.
So I protect myself. What do? I wear my mask.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I can control.
That's what you can control.
I wear my mask. Mm-hmm. I make sure I wash my hands. Those are the things that I can control. I can't control who's sneezing, who doesn't cover their mouth. I can't control that. I can just protect myself.
So it's some simple things.
It's really simple. So that's something basic. You control what you eat. So part of this journey in your mental health has a lot to do with how you take care of yourself. Physically. It's all connected.
Mm-hmm.
And so when sometimes people say, well, I'm just feel out of control. That's not true, or?
Well, they probably are behaving out of control. Because our mental health is what we think, what we feel, and how we act.
Okay.
So if we feel that, then we may support that feeling by acting out on that.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine, I think I sent something out today that talked about on Instagram. It talked about the things that we speak, and we become what we speak. So It's the same thing. If we continue to think that we are out of control, then you're going to be out of control. So if we shift that to say, you know what, but I am in control of this, then guess what will happen? You will become in control of that. So there's power in what we say and power in what we think. And I'm sorry, Mr. Adams, were you about to say something?
And what I was going to say is too, when people also say they feel out of control, it's also because they're trying to control too much, and they're really saying that they're overwhelmed, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it goes back to what Dr. Brown's saying. But as I mentioned before, things are going to happen. Life is going to happen, and there are some things that you can't stop from happening.
That's
but
right.
What you can do is manage how you react and respond to it.
Mm.
And so those are the things that can help you stay within control, can help you stay less overwhelmed, because again, you can only handle what you can handle. And
Wow.
and then we talk about this in the faith-based space, dealing with our churches and our pastor. You know, how often do we say, take your burdens to the Lord and leave them there? And we take them to the altar and then take them right back to our seat.
Yes.
We need to learn how to really
release it.
Right. And then that will release the stress that many of us feel and the overwhelmingness that we are experiencing.
Yeah, it's like, you know how I feel about the faith-based community, and I'm really an advocate for making sure that, you know, people in the faith-based community don't over religiousize or Christianize the fact that, you know, oh my God, you can't go to therapy. I'm a Christian. I went to therapy and my therapist was a Christian. Dr. Brown is a therapist and she's a Christian. She loves Jesus. Y'all, she loves Jesus. Okay. Rob Adams owns the company. He loves Jesus.
Absolutely.
You know,
couldn't do it without him.
Couldn't do it without him. So we kind of put that in that bond. But if I was able to take a look at this, I would be, if I could create a visual, very visual, but if I could create a visual for people taking their burdens to the Lord and leaving them there, they would drop them, go to the altar. Here's my baggage. I throw it there. And then it's like, you ain't worked on that yet, God. And this before they even left the altar from prayer. They want a miracle to happen. And sometimes it just takes some time for us to just really figure out that God is probably saying to them, you know what, you can control this. You can't control that. You can control this, but you can't control that. Give this to me. Come on, give it to me, and I will take care of it. So Dr. Brown, you know, we talked quite a bit during the course of the week, and I just want to officially say I love you. I really do.
Let me get the other check.
Get the check ready, because I really. But you and I were on the phone the other day, and we were talking about coping. And so as we talk today is Giving Tuesday. Let's give the gift of peace, right? And so we're going to be talking about what peace means. But you mentioned, I said to you, I was like, we were talking about coping. And I mentioned to you that I have some friends that are trying to, and even family member that was like grieving from the death of their wife. And was this, I'm just going to take the edge off. So I'm going to have a drink. This takes the edge off of me. I just need, I just need a drink. And what, 18, 20 years later, they're still taking the edge off. So you said something so profound to me that I said, we have to discuss this, is about taking the edge off when a person is going through trauma and tragedy. So talk a little bit about that.
So, and I can't remember what I said to you.
I can.
But what I do recall is along the way, for whatever reason, we've decided that we just don't want to experience pain. We feel like we don't have the capacity to endure, when in fact we do have the capacity. And so part of it is what people think is that the pain will go away if I don't deal with it. And so part of taking the edge off is not dealing with it. And so what you do is you create along the way this bad habit of taking the edge off because you never deal with it. And it's still there. And even if you're drinking, when you wake up, the pain is still there.
And the problem.
Yeah. So now you've created another problem. When really, if you allow yourself to actually experience and process the pain. So when you go through grief, that's what I think people, they want to end. They want to know, when will it be over? It's an experience that's only unique for you.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
There's not a time limit. Everybody processes it very differently.
Yeah, I heard someone, I was on Abraham Scully's podcast the other day, and he and I both said, we were talking, We said that usually sometimes when people are having thoughts of suicide, they really don't want to die, but they just want the pain to stop. And I had my own suicide ideation. Was it ideations?
Ideation.
Ideations, right? And I really just wanted the pain to stop. Like, I didn't want to die, but I felt like if I did, then that's the only way that the pain would end. Okay. And so we go into doing sorts of things to harm ourselves, or to overdrink, or to take drugs because we just want to numb the pain. But I never really thought about there's a process to go through the pain. And I know I had to get revelation years later about the 5 steps of grief, which is a process that you need to go through before we can even get to acceptance. But what I discover is that that's why it's important to talk to a professional. This is why it's important to talk to a professional, because we will call Pookie, we call TT, we'll call somebody else, and then they'll tell you, girl, don't cry, you strong, you can do it. And so now you're carrying that pain. You're also carrying that burden. You don't want to cry. You don't know how to process. And that's why it's important for you to go to Dr. Brown, go to telehealth, go to a therapist so that they can help you process pain. So what does processing pain really look like? What does that look like?
It's different for each person, because you'll find some people, they don't cry. And it doesn't mean, and other people try to tell you what your grief should look like. I think that's why we can't call auntie, because what she'll say is, you don't believe in the Lord, you're not praying hard enough, or you didn't fast long enough. And that's not true. Or people make judgments if you don't cry. Sometimes people are so traumatized by the loss that they can't feel anything. That is a normal process depending on the loss and the relationship. There may be days, months before you may even drop a tear, because you are just literally in shock. I was telling you the other day, I think when I lost my mom, it was so traumatic for me that I was literally in shock. I can, like the Spike Lee movie where the old Spike, when they were just felt like they were just kind of bouncing. They never really were walking, and they were kind of bouncing. That's how I felt. I never felt like I was connected at that moment. I always described it as my foundation was cracked at that moment. And so I was just kind of at a loss. And so there were a lot of ways that I could have gone. But for me, I knew I had to process it. I knew I had to allow myself. And that was the one time that I allowed myself, strong is what I call myself. But I remember publicly saying to my girlfriend who was by my side, this is the one time that I can only focus on me, and I can't be strong for anybody else. So I verbally said, yes, that's it.
So that's something in your control.
Yeah, that was it. I owned the fact that this right here, any strength I had, it just left me. I don't have it. And I was okay with that.
And it's okay.
And so that's what people need to own, the fact that whatever situation that is, admit, I don't have the strength for this.
I ain't got it today.
I can't be strong through this. I need someone else. You have to have a good tribe to be able to.
Yes. And that's what I was about to say. So if you are in someone's tribe, okay, and they come to you with that conversation, you got to know what to do. So in a case like that, Dr. Brown, what should someone do when I say to you, look, I ain't got no strength for this. I don't even know if I'm going to have any strength for this. I just can't today. How do me as a friend help a person like that?
So, and typically most people don't say that. They want to present. So typically what happens, Lynette, honestly, is the opposite. We always say we're fine, but we say one thing, but our behavior shows something else. So often I tell people, when someone says that they're doing okay, but the tears are rolling down their face, we don't say, okay, I'm going to leave you alone. But we say, I'm going to sit with you, and when you're ready.
Right.
So what that means is I don't have to say a word. We're going to sit in silence together.
Okay.
Sometimes people don't need a lot of conversation.
Okay.
They need to be able to experience that emotion, but they feel safe because somebody is right there with them.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to be comfortable allowing that person to
Mm-hmm.
show their emotions and be vulnerable.
Right.
So that's
Okay.
the other part. We have to make sure that we're comfortable with that.
Yes.
Because we often ask and then we become uncomfortable ourselves.
Okay. Okay.
So you have to create a space where that person can be vulnerable. And then you ask them. Sometimes we already know that the person hasn't been eating. We already know that there are things that need to be done. Just do it.
Yes.
Sometimes you don't need to ask. Think about
That's
what
good.
you would need during that time.
Yeah. You want me to go get you something to eat? I ain't ate in 7 days.
Because typically you haven't.
Right.
Or you've been in the house. Let's get up and go for a ride.
Yeah. I had a girlfriend who came to me and just said, okay, let's open up these blinds. Let's go out and get something to eat. You need to get out of this house. And then there were times where she just listened. She just listened. And so I think sometimes we have to learn how to just listen. And so when a person is feeling, because we're kind of already feeling like I'm talking about I've been through it, but we're already feeling like it's I don't know whether you're going to, you can understand. I don't know whether you understand what I'm going through. And so when I finally get to the point where I need to open up and tell somebody what I'm going through, I need you to listen. And do not discount the feelings. That's something that I have had people do to me, is tell me that, well, you don't feel that way. And that makes it worse, because you're going to tell me, I'm telling you, listen, I'm having a challenge. And then you're going to tell me, well, you can't feel that way. You don't feel that way. Well, why do you feel that way?
That's why sometimes silence is the best. Sometimes just keep your mouth closed and allow the person to express themselves.
Yes.
They don't, even as a therapist, I can take off my therapist hat and sit and listen.
Oh,
I don't have to offer a reflection or a suggestion, because they don't need that at that time. Sometimes people just need to say what it is that they want to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when they're ready, you can ask them, were you looking for, do you need any suggestions? Do you need me to say anything? Or just validate them. Sorry you're feeling that way. How can I help you through this process?
Yes.
Don't be so quick to say you understand, because remember what I said is the journey of grief is unique to everyone. So you really may not understand. Just because we may have experienced a similar loss doesn't mean that it's occurring. Your grief is occurring for you in the way that mine is. So sometimes we can't be so quick to say that we understand, because we may not.
Yes. And really, I mean, like you said, every situation is unique. I mean, you lost your husband. I didn't lose a husband like that. So I can sympathize and empathize with you, but I can't tell you that I understand what that's like, and so we just have to be, I don't think at times that we are good friends at times. It seems like it's like we want to solve our problems or our friends' problems, and because we don't want broken friends. And I remember telling a family member that I wasn't doing well. Okay. And no, this was a friend, and they said, call me when you feel better. And I was like, yo, I'm calling you now. And I'm on the phone with you, telling them I'm struggling. I'm having a challenge. And like, okay, girl, I'm sorry you're not feeling good, but call me when you get better. And that spoke volumes to me, because what that said was, this person doesn't want a broken friend. They just want me to be my regular self so we can go out and eat and shop and do the things. But I can't process your pain, and I can't help you. Rob, go ahead.
So Lynette, I think it really is more around, not that they don't want a broken friend, but they don't know how to fix it. Right? Most people in your life, whether they want to admit it or not, would love to be your hero. At least for men, we want to be your hero. Okay. Because if we can fix the situation, then you will love us to death. But what happens when you don't know how to fix it? You know, we
Mm-hmm.
talk about this all the time. We have friends that may be struggling. And when
Mm-hmm.
they finally reach out and say that I need help,
Mm-hmm.
who knows where to go get help?
Yes.
How do you get someone help? And so when someone reaches out to you and
Mm-hmm.
you can't help them or you don't know how to help them, it makes you as that individual feel negatively about yourself because you can't
Mm-hmm.
help someone. And so again, I just think that most people don't know where to go to help those who are in need. And
Mm-hmm.
this is another reason why we created telehelp 24/7, because when your girlfriend or when your guy friend says to you, I'm struggling,
Mm-hmm.
I'm in need,
Mm-hmm.
I need help,
Mm-hmm.
we need a place that they can go
Yes.
get the help
Yes.
immediately and get the comfort that they need, right? And so that's what
Yes.
it's really all about: educating our people,
Mm-hmm.
particularly those of communities of color,
Yep.
and then being able to give them a solution, not
Yes.
constantly talking about the challenge and the issue, but
Mm-hmm.
giving them a solution in where to get help, how to get help, and then continuously evaluating how well the help is helping them.
You know, you must be a prophet because, of course, you know that happened to me the other day, right? I was literally on the phone with a very good friend who's going through a traumatic divorce situation. And I mean, she was just, and I just said to her, you know what? I have a solution because she was looking for me to solve it for her, And I said, I do have a solution for you. I want you to reach out to Telehealth 24/7. They have a community assistance program right now where you can get 3 50-minute counseling sessions for $120. Okay. And that is just unheard of. Okay. I want you to call. I want you to go online. I want you to download the app. I want you to get that. I want you to get connected
Mhm.
so that you can get the help that you need, because she was getting a lot of advice from a lot of people that really wasn't helping her, and they were just in her head in spaces. And I was like, it's time to talk with a professional, so that you can get better. And so we're here today to talk about the gift of peace. So, Robert, what does peace mean to you?
Oh, well, first of all, the one thing we're not going to do is stress, right? Peace means not being able to stress about things again, as Dr. Brown alluded to,
Mhm.
that you can't control.
Yes.
Being able to laugh,
Yes.
being able to sleep peacefully,
Mhm.
and understanding that you're going to control what you can control, and whatever you can't control, you're going to give it up,
Mhm. Mhm.
because God has a plan. But that's what peace means to me. Being able to laugh,
Mhm.
being able to enjoy the great things that life has to offer, and again, not have to be worrying about things that I can't control. As you well know, I had a very good friend that I grew up with, who passed away in
Yes.
2017, and because he had a double aneurysm because he was gotten into an argument, and his blood pressure went up so high that he wound up having a double aneurysm
Mm.
and passing away. And so that I always remember that. And then when you see the statistics that Black males typically die earlier than they should,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
much of it is due to stress,
Mm.
not taking care of ourselves. So when you understand those ticking time bombs that are there, the question is, how do you avoid it? And so
Mhm.
you put yourself in situations where, again, you're not going to deal with drama, right?
Mhm.
You're not going to deal with things that take you to a different level that is
Mhm.
unhealthy. And so that's what peace means to me.
Dr. Brown, what does peace mean to you?
That no matter what comes my way, that I have the ability to navigate
Okay. See? Right on.
it.
That
Whatever
was-
comes my
This-
way, I have the ability to navigate it, and people may not understand. They
Mm.
have no idea, but when things happen and you're like, why is she like that? She's not upset. That's peace right there.
Yeah.
Just know that it's going to all work out in my good, for my good. So,
Yeah. For me, I told a friend of mine the other day that peace is choosing me. For so long, I chose other people to give them peace. I offered peace to them by solving challenges, whatever for them. And I never chose myself. And I was telling them, I said, I am the happiest that I have ever been in my life. Why? Because I've chosen myself.
Mm-hmm.
I've chosen to give myself health, wealth, and peace. And I'm on that peace that surpasses all understanding. Okay, because one of the things the Bible says is that peace. God will give you peace that surpasses all understanding, and it will guard your hearts, and your minds. I think it's Philippians 4:7. That guard your hearts and your minds. And when I really read that scripture, it's plural, like two hearts, two or more. Like, whoa, how many hearts do I have? You have a spiritual heart. You also have a physical heart. And I really feel like if your spiritual heart is not in a good, peaceful place, it can stop your physical heart. But your minds, your subconscious and your conscious minds. And so I had to remember, like, when I give myself peace, it protects me physically, my physical mind, my physical body, but it also protects my spirit. And when your spirit is protected, all kinds of stuff can go off around you. You'd be like, yeah, well, whatever. And so I get you, Dr. Brown. I get you. You'd be like, really? Okay. But I chose to give myself peace, to choose me, because I always chose other people. Meaning, like, you can give peace to other people. You can be a blessing and be peace to other people by not being a hellion. But but I chose myself. And when I started putting myself back, I remember one of the former presidents of CNN, when I worked at CNN, he walked up to me. His name was Jim Walton, and he said, "You're not on the list anymore." And I was like, "Jim, what are you?" We were at a cocktail party, and I'm like, "Jim, you've been drinking a little bit too much of the cocktails. What are you talking about?" He said, "You're not on the list." And I was like, "Okay, Jim, what you talking about?" He said, and he just walked up to me. It was during the time that my mother was very ill. He said, "You're not on your life list." And I was like, He says, "Not only should you get back on your life list, you should get at the top." Do you know, it took me a long time to get back on my list and to move myself to the top of the list, because I put so many other things and people and their peace ahead of my own peace. And so if you're struggling with peace within yourself, Dr. Brown told us the circles, the control. You can control what's in your ability to control, but then you can also be peace. How about that? We can be peace to other people.
Absolutely.
And we can also give peace. And so what we're talking about, giving the gift of peace, is if you know someone that's going through something right now, and we probably got a handful of friends that we know that are dealing or challenging with something right now. If they're going through something right now, I mean, you can give them, you can go out and buy them a pair of shoes. You can go out and buy them a t-shirt. You can go out and buy them a whole bunch of stuff. But I think the greatest gift that you could give to a loved one and or a friend is the gift of peace. By going ahead and saying, "Listen, I know you're dealing with this. I'm going to go ahead and pay for it. Let me go ahead and help you with the gift of peace." Talk to us about that. Either one of you, Dr. Brown or Robert.
I want to add something you said.
Mm-hmm.
Or how about moving yourself back to the top of the list and purchase it for yourself?
That's why she's Dr. Brown.
Because
I love that.
We give what we don't have.
We can't.
Right.
So that's it. We can't give. If we really want to be there for our family and our friends, it's great. You can have on the finest of clothes.
Mm-hmm.
But if your mental health is not, if you're not healthy mentally and you're struggling and you're always at war, you can't ever give them your absolute best.
That's good.
When we were discussing this, that's what I think we put a lot of emphasis in our clothes and our hair and our nails, in our makeup, cars, all those material items. We put a lot of on the external. And we don't do a great job taking care of the things that people can't see. So nobody knows those inner struggles. No one can see them because we spend so much time hiding behind our things, those external things. So this is a great opportunity, not just today, even tomorrow, next week, to purchase the gift of peace to give someone so that they can truly be whole, so that they can really focus on who they are and they can be their better self. Because that's really why we're here. The work that we do is to help people become a better version of who they are each and every day.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's our goal.
And this is why we put this together.
Yeah, I was about to say that, Robert. Yeah,
called the Community Assistance Program, because we realize in our communities of color, we haven't put ourselves first. We put everything and everyone else first, and we live daily with stress. We live daily with the trauma in our communities. And so, as Dr. Brown said, you can't give peace to someone else if you don't have peace within. And so being able to give those an opportunity to experience and make a commitment towards mental wellness, but not just 2023, but can start today. How can I experience and begin the mental wellness, the mental maintenance that's needed through all of the things that I've gone through and experienced throughout the year and what I'm going to experience in 2023. We know as long as you live life, you will experience the turbulence of life.
That's right.
But how can you, as Dr. Brown say, navigate and manage it appropriately so that you can continue to navigate through life? And this is where the Community Assistance Program comes in. It gives you an opportunity to experience mental wellness. It gives you an opportunity to educate yourself on the importance of being able to stay within your right frame of mind. And when you can do that mentally, it will now manifest itself physically and everywhere else in your space.
Yeah. You know, like I like what you said, you give yourself that gift. Okay,
Exactly.
you can order it for yourself. You know, you can give it to someone, but you can definitely order it for yourself. And even if this is like therapy is new to you, if you feel like, oh my God, I've never gone to a therapist, but you know, I've heard that people have great results, or people that have gone to therapy and I've always wanted to go. This is a great opportunity for you to try the therapy out, because it's at a great price. I mean, this price is not going to be like this forever. As a matter of fact, it expires the end of December. So the end of the year. So, and you can go out to the website, telehelp247.org, and you can see the regular prices that are out there. Just go to coaching, go to counseling. You can see the regular prices of what the services cost, but you're getting a session for $40 a session. You know, that's as low as $40 a session, which is really very good. So you get yourself an opportunity to just sit down and talk with someone and kind of get the burden off of us, you know, kind of like take it off of you. You've been trying to carry so much. And I don't know if I'm just talking to anybody that's out there that has lost a loved one, that has just lost maybe a job, that just, you know, the mamas that are out there that are carrying it by themselves. I really wish I had an opportunity to have gone to therapy as a single mom, because there are days that I would work all day long, and I'll be real honest, I would come home and I'm like, I don't want to deal with nobody. I love my kids, but I don't want to deal with them right now. And I had 2 sons that I had to come home and cook and clean and make sure that's happening, and then get up and do it all over again. And I didn't have anybody to talk to. I didn't have anybody to share what I was going through. And I probably would have made some better choices in my life if I had someone to just share that stuff with and just kind of get it off of me, because I think we carry too much. And then the other thing is, Dr. Brown, one of the things that you said to me that was so sharp the other day that just made me have an aha moment was, you said, within, I'm not sure of the period of time, but you lost your mom, your husband, your father. You had several losses. Okay. I mean, you didn't know them, you know where they are, but you have several losses in that time period. What if you took the edge off? And I think it was it about five of them? Five? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was 2018, then 2019, and then 2021, and my father 2 months after my husband, and then my great aunt, who I was really close to, who was like a grandmother this year, actually. So it has been back to back.
Back to back.
It was back to back. But I did take the edge off. What did I do?
Yes.
I exercise.
Let's talk about the edge.
So for me, and the edge is I'm up and I'm at the gym where everybody's sleeping. I'm at the gym at 4 o'clock. That works for me. So going there, getting all that stress out, that works for me, is exercising. That's something that I was very committed to and very consistent.
So between 2018 and what, this year, was it this year, 2022, there were 5 deaths. So what if you took the edge off with some alcohol, some drugs, some food? What you said to me that I thought was so powerful is like, I live my life taking the edge off.
That was every day, because something would have happened every single time. So I would have taken the edge off of my mother's death and then never recovered or dealt with that. And you don't know when another death is coming, right? Because they are going to come.
They're coming.
You know, so then here's another one. Well, now I still hadn't resolved the issue of my mom, so I'm still drinking away, right? And here's another death. Well, okay, so I got to take the edge off of 2 deaths. So here I go again. So you will live the rest of your life taking the edge off if you don't find a healthy way.
If you don't find a healthy way.
And allow yourself to experience the pain. I allowed myself to experience each and every loss. In my own way, I took the time and I literally shut down and allowed myself to experience.
Yes.
So that I could get through it. Now, does that mean I don't miss them? I missed every one of them.
Absolutely.
I think about them daily. But the difference is it doesn't feel like a burden. I'm not heavy. I just take them along with me wherever I go.
So what would you say, Dr. Brown, to, I feel like I'm having a therapy session with you right now myself, but because I love her, I can call her and just talk to her, but she just gives me such great advice and I love her so much. And so she's going to write a 3rd check. But what would you say to someone who's just having a hard time? We just had Thanksgiving Thursday and there were some chairs that were empty. Right? What would you say to someone who's just struggling and having a hard time dealing with the fact that that loved one, because we don't know who it is. My sister was telling me that her mother-in-law passed in August and her mother-in-law loved Thanksgiving. Like that's like her favorite thing, you know, like I was telling you about them Danny Walk chicken wings. Like listen. And I'll tell y'all a little quick story. My sister probably gonna laugh. She don't care. She don't laugh. She don't care. So she won't care. She won't care. She was just this. She told it at the funeral. So my sister, my sister's mother-in-law loved chicken wings, right? I mean, listen, she loved chicken wings. Like I ain't never seen nobody love chicken wings like this. Okay. And so she would tell my sister, like, when I'm coming over, get my chicken wings ready. And my sister be like, okay, Mom. She get on the phone and call the order in the Danny Walk chicken wings, right? And she would get these Danny Walk chicken wings and have them there and give them to her mother-in-law. And her mother-in-law just knew that Gwen was in the kitchen. Just you make the best chicken. She said, Mama, So she finally at the funeral, she confessed her soul. But you know, Miss Lillian couldn't hear her. But Miss Lillian left this earth believing that Gwen made them chicken wings. But she gave her Danny Walk chicken wings. And so we kind of had a good chuckle. But Miss Lillian loved to eat. She loved chicken wings that she thought was made by my sister. And, you know, it was tough for them this year because Thanksgiving was her holiday. It was her favorite holiday. It was all around the food because Christmas is kind of around the gifts and around the food and things like that. But Thanksgiving is all around the food. And for a foodie, they love Thanksgiving. And it was very, very difficult for them this year. So what would you say to someone who just are struggling. They're still trying to keep it together because the chair was empty. How can they continue to pick up the pieces? We got another holiday coming.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So if they are struggling, in August, I mean, it's still very new. It's still very new. I would encourage them to purchase a cat program.
Yeah.
To develop some great coping skills and to just have a place where they can just let it all out. Because some of that, I know that they're holding in. They're not letting it out the way you think. And they just really need to have a place where they can discuss what it is that they're feeling, their anger. I know they're angry.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, I mean, I know they're angry. And when you're a Christian, that's where the conflict comes in. Should I, why am I angry? So that's me. Am I angry with God? I know that's not right. So you're struggling with that. I would really encourage them to purchase a cat program.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that you can actually get some real coping skills and just have a place to talk it out. Let me be clear. It's not going to take the pain away, but it is going to take the edge off the pain.
Oh, that's good.
I want to be clear because a lot of times there's not a miracle in this. You still have to go through the pain, but counseling, it takes the edge off. That's another healthy way. It'll take the edge off because you'll know, it'll be a great sigh.
Yes.
And you'll feel, you know what? I feel like I can endure this week.
Yes, I can live another week, and I'm not harming myself because I'm trying to do that. Because I drank and I ate and I did drugs through my process. And you know what? The first one, the second one came. I started drinking. The third one, I started eating. And I had not processed anything. And now I've got all these challenges, from these situations. And really, I just needed to get it out of me and talk to someone. If you're just joining us, we are talking to the CEO, Mr. Robert Adams, and the fabulous Dr. Candace Norris Brown. She is a licensed therapist, and she is the COO of Telehelp 24/7. They are my partners. You guys know that I play the video every single week. They are my partners because I am an advocate for mental health. I am here to help eradicate the stigma behind mental health. And I just want to see our people get healed.
Absolutely.
Rob, you got anything you want to share with us before because we've been on an hour now, and I could talk to y'all for a long time. Y'all make me you always make me go north.
Oh, I say you going to New York, girl.
Yeah, girl.
Oh my. But this is so 'tis the season when many of us are experiencing a lot of happiness and a lot of joy. But there's also a lot of sadness because, as you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of missing people at the table. Christmas will never be the same because someone lost a loved one, And so this is also a very difficult time for those who are experiencing loss, grief, when they should be experiencing a lot of joy and gathering, family gathering. But this is another reason why we put out the community assistance program, so that you can purchase it and get the help that you need.
Yeah.
Dr. Brown often talks about SAD, and she can talk more about this also, the season of what happens when we experience daylight savings time and we have change and everything. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Brown when it comes to that.
So, of course, it gets dark earlier now. And so people begin to feel a little low. Their energy level starts to leave them a little bit early, as you described, fatigue. And so some of the fatigue has to do that we don't have that many daylight hours anymore. And sometimes it can manifest into symptoms of depression. You can feel your mood change.
Yes.
You can feel yourself getting sluggish. You're just not as engaged as you were. That has a lot to do with the season affective disorder is what it's called. So it's important for people to continue to do what they were currently doing. So if you were exercising, and I know I say it all the time, but it's something that you could do that's free. You can go outside and walk.
Yeah, that's right.
it really is. Take advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
There is proof that when you're out and you're walking for at least 3 to 4 days a week, and you walking for at least 30 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
the impact that it can have on your mental health and your clarity.
Yes. Yes.
So
absolutely.
you can do that in your neighborhood. You don't even have to purchase a gym membership.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I want to encourage people to do that. I want, so there are a couple of things that I do want to leave them with before we sign off. So there was
Mm-hmm.
something Mr. Adams said that the table looks differently because there's someone missing.
Mm-hmm.
But for those of you where everyone is at the table, there's someone there where they're missing too. They're missing emotionally. They're not present.
Good.
So I need for you to check in with them. If you notice that someone says something, but their behavior doesn't align with that, I want to encourage you to check in
Mhm.
with your family and your friends. You ask them questions. So when was the last time you've eaten?
Mm-hmm.
When was has there been a change in how are you eating more or are you eating less? We just heard from Ms. Jackson said she was eating more.
Mm-hmm.
That was a cue to someone. It should have been, because it wasn't typical. If someone tells you they're sleeping more or they're sleeping less, because these are questions that you ask about.
Mm-hmm.
Are they isolating themselves?
Yes.
Someone that's typically the life of the party, you see them retreating.
Yes.
You need to engage that person.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
If their grooming is off,
Yes.
you need to engage that person. I notice you're not looking the same anymore. What's going on with you?
Mm-hmm.
And exactly what I'm telling you to do, I had to do with my goddaughter. She was off to me. So much so that it had me up out of my sleep. And so the first thing she said when I said, "What's going on with you?" Nothing. And I said, "There's something going on." And she cried for this length of time.
Yes.
And I said to her the same thing I'm saying to you. I can't be her therapist, but I said, "You're going to have to go to therapy." And I referred her to telehealth 24/7.
Oh, that's so good, Dr. Brown. I mean, you said a whole mouthful, but I think that is, something that we are a brother's keeper, and we do need to check on them. And there was a time where I had a friend of mine when I was working for Cox Media Group. She heard me talking about the fact that I was going to be going to speak in the Connecticut area, and I'm going to be talking about my book and bipolar disorder and things like that. And it was at a church, at a leadership conference. And you ever had somebody at work ear hustle you? So this is this girl that was ear hustling us, right? And so she said, "Well, what gives you the authority to walk up and speak about something?" And so, my girlfriend wanted to hey, wait a minute, I'll handle her. I was like, no, let's hear her out. And so she said, I told her I wrote a book, and I told her that, I was going up to talk to a church about that. And so she said, I want to talk to you. And I said, okay. She said, can I take you to lunch? Well, you know what she told me? She said, I've been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. The medication that I'm taking makes me feel very off. I don't like the way I feel. My family calls me crazy, and I stopped taking the medicine because I want to feel better. So the first thing I advised her to do was to contact her doctor. Contact your doctor. You have to take the medication. And if that medication is not working for you, talk to your doctor about putting you on or trying something different. Maybe they need to increase your levels or decrease your levels or to help you, but you have to go talk to your professional doctor. You can't self-medicate by saying, I'm not going to take my medication because I don't like the way it feels. You have to tell them what the side effects are. But, she was a coworker. She worked on the other side of the floor, and I would have never known it. But it's important that we do watch. I used to tell my friend, I was like, Whitney, girl, if I come in here and my face ain't beat and I come in here in my pajamas, you need to check on me because Miss Jackson going to have her right and she going to put on a lipstick and she's not. But if I come to work in my pajamas and a bonnet on my head, please come check on me. Okay? Because like you said, something is off. And we do need to be able to watch out and ask the questions. We don't need to say, oh, girl, you crazy. We don't need to use those words. but we need to use compassion.
Mhm.
We need to walk in grace when we are approaching a person that could possibly be, off their medication, that are dealing with some issues or having a low moment. You mentioned about the seasonal disorder, right? Let me tell you something. I go to bed early anyway, but let me tell you something. I have to fight myself. I'm like, Lynette, it's 5:30. You cannot go to bed. Because you're right, my energy starts to go down. I'm exhausted. I get up very early in the morning anyway, and I like to work in peace, but my energy goes down. The blinds are open now. It's pitch black outside, and I feel like I should be in the bed, and so we have to monitor those levels of energy and those levels of things. I just want to say that Telehelp 24/7 has an app out.
Mhm.
Telehelp 24/7 has a great app out. I want you guys, if you're watching, and if you're watching this by the replay, please go to the iOS store. Go to your Apple. Go to, if you have an Android, God bless you. But if you have an Android, no shade to the Android people. We like Android people too. We love Android people because Robert has one. I'm an Apple girl, but anyway, go to the Android store, go Google Play, go to the Apple store, and download Telehelp 24/7's app today. Let me tell you something. You're going to get every morning at 10 a.m., you're going to get a mental health tip written by yours truly, Dr. Brown. She has taken the time to really put thought behind helping us with tips every day. And so you're going to get that. That costs you nothing. There are there's a blog out there, there's videos out there, there's things out there, there is a wellness there are wellness tips out there, there are things that are doing that cost you absolutely nothing. So please go out there and download that app so that you can stay connected. If you need to schedule an appointment, you can do all of that stuff from your phone, from the app. Of course, you can go to telehelp247.org. You can go to the website. You can definitely do that. You can follow us on Facebook at Official Telehelp 24/7, Instagram at Official Telehelp 24/7. I feel like I'm preaching. Let me get well, but y'all can see, like, I'm so passionate about that. And I'll tell you why I'm passionate about it. I had a sister who was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. And I told Robert this story. But for years, Dr. Brown, we just said, why can't she be regular? Why can't you just be like everybody else? Why you acting out? We did not know that. She was misdiagnosed for years. She was beaten. She was put on excessive drugs. She was in institutions. She was locked up. She had paranoid schizophrenia. She had a mental health condition, and she was thrown in prison, beaten. And when I understood, I by the way, took her off life support as well. So when I discovered that, you know what? She was institutionalized in a nursing home for mentally ill people in patients in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, and I was her provider. Her, yes, and I got to know and learn and love and understand what she was fighting with every single day. And she was misdiagnosed for years, and it broke my heart when I started to learn. Rob, you did schizophrenia drugs, right? But when
I sold
you sold it. Rob was the legal dealer. Rob worked for a pharmaceutical company, and he was a sales rep. Let's clear that up, because Rob is not a dealer. He's not a dealer. He doesn't deal schizophrenia drugs, and he doesn't take them. Let's clear that up. But you knew and understand, and that was just something that really, it really broke my heart that she was just misdiagnosed. And so I know that there are a lot of people out here that are being misdiagnosed because they're self-medicating, or they're letting auntie diagnose them. We're trying to say today, go to the professionals. Go to the professionals. Give yourself the gift of peace by logging on to the website, downloading the app, and going ahead and sign up for the Community Assistance Program. We call it CAP, and give the gift of peace to someone else. Dr. Brown, Rob, y'all got anything to say before because I finished preaching now. I'm just
you right now.
Ooh.
I do want to add, when you choose today to give the gift of peace, you will have access to culturally competent clinicians. That's the key to a healthy and correct diagnosis. Because when you get someone that looks like you, their intake, their questions, it's going to be truly about you. You can be open and honest about what you're experiencing day to day. And the assessments that are used, they are culturally competent. They're designed to gather information that is pertinent for people of color.
Absolutely.
So definitely, when you choose telehealth 24/7, you are choosing culturally competent clinicians.
Yes.
And I would also like to add that, we realize that, again, when it comes to communities of color, there needs to be more of an educational component that goes along with that, so people can understand the difference. But the bottom line is, sometimes our people are experiencing things that they may not see or think that is under the umbrella of mental health. So we have also now brought on coaches.
Yes.
That can help them navigate through some of their challenges, because some people just need encouragement. Some people just need a mentor. They need an attaboy. And we have mental health coaches that are available as well. Now, if during their journey, they and their coach feel that they need an additional boost when it comes to therapy, then they can have an internal referral to a licensed provider. So, but the bottom line is, telehealth 24/7 is a solution. Those who are struggling,
yes,
regardless of what the mental health disorder is.
Yes.
So check out telehealth 24/7 at www.telehelp247.org.
That's it.
So call us at 888-247-5767. Telehealth. We're ready to meet you where you are.
We're ready to meet you where you are. Well, Dr. Brown, Robert Adams, y'all know how much love I have for y'all, but I just thank you for taking time out of your schedule today to talk about giving the gift of peace on this Giving Tuesday. And, we just hope that people heed to this, and really the stigma of mental, you ain't got to tell nobody you're doing it. You can just do it. You can just say, yep, I'm going to go ahead and do it. And just go ahead and take care of what's important. I thank God for you. I thank God that I was introduced to you, Mr. Adams, and that we've been rocking since 2019. And then the gift that you've given to me was introduced me to this beautiful sister right here, my girl, Dr. Brown. My girl, Dr. Brown. I love you both to life. I thank God for you. And I'm super excited to be in partnership with you to fight this good fight and to help eradicate the stigma of mental health. Thanks so much for joining us. God bless you both.
Thank you.
All right. Happy
bye.
Take care.
Thank you.
Well, guys, this has been great. Like, we're over our time, but you know what? I could talk about this for a long time, because I really, 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 I really enjoy the fact that I can get with other people, like-minded folks, and we can talk about this. So don't forget, telehealth247.org. You can call 888-247-5767. If you need help today, you can pick up the phone and call them and download their app. Like I said, every morning at 10 a.m., that's 7 days a week, you're going to get a mental health tip. They are so awesome. Dr. Brown has written them. They're just so great. They're just little things that can just help you. And so you don't have to pay for that. Just download the app. You get that for free. And she is just really pouring her heart into helping us be better people. All right. Well, remember that I love you. God loves you. But most importantly, learn to love yourself. Bye for now.
You've been watching Speak Out Loud, the story behind the brand, with your host, Lynette Jackson. Please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. And until next week, don't forget to use your voice to speak out loud.